Yeah. Okay, the cameras. I see the speaker.
Deputy President. Good morning, Deputy President.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, honorable members.
I know you can't identify this voice. It's time to be
Good morning. Good morning, Deputy President.
Molweni, GP.
I want to change the background.
You must take your flag away. That communist flag is not
Good morning. Good morning, Deputy President.
Excuse. And we can just go with blue. That's fine for now.
This is okay?
No.
You
don't have the Parliament one?
No, I don't.
Switch off your microphone, DP. Switch off your microphone, DP.
Yes. Yes, that's well.
Can you hear me now?
Very well. We can hear you. We can see you.
But you said I must switch it off.
They were still taking you through to say you have an ANC, you have a South African Parliament and the AU flag. That's good.
Okay, you can see all that.
No,
Yeah,
the chief whip man, you should mute your mic because when you were talking in the background, it was heard by everybody.
It was off.
No, it was on the mic, so that's why members could hear the background.
Or they could
what
hear,
it was said. He didn't say
Yes,
it was.
on. It was on at that time when they were saying, let's put this one, go to the left, to the right.
Oh,
but now
I
you're
see.
perfect.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Get it.
Recording in progress.
You may put your video off, DP, put your video off.
Good morning, honorable members. Welcome to all of the members present today. There will now be an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation.
I'm trying to, but it's not working.
Thank you. Today, the honorable members, before we proceed, we'd like to remind you that the virtual plenary is deemed to be in the precinct of Parliament and constitute a meeting of the National Assembly. In addition to the rules of virtual sittings, the rules of the National Assembly, including the rules of debate, apply. Members enjoy the same powers, privileges that apply in a sitting of the National Assembly. Members should equally note that anything said in the virtual platform is deemed to have been said to the House and may be ruled upon. All members who have logged in shall be considered to be present and are requested to mute their microphones and only unmute when recognized to speak. This is because the mics are very sensitive and will pick up noise which might disturb the attention of other members. When recognized to speak, please unmute your microphone and where connectivity permits, connect your video. Members may use the icons on the bar at the bottom of or wherever of their screens, which has an option that allows to put up their hand to raise points of order. The Secretariat will assist in alerting the presiding officer to members requesting to speak. When using the visual system, members are urged to refrain and desist from unnecessary points of order. I'd like to add that oftentimes members, inadvertently, your microphones comes on, and please be alert and careful and keep watching to ensure that you are not on when you are not recognized. The only item on today's paper is questions to the President addressed, the questions addressed to the Deputy President. There are 4 supplementary questions on each question. Each have a given indication of which questions their members wish to pose a supplementary question. Adequate notice was given to parties for this purpose. The members who will pose supplementary questions will be recognized by the presiding officer. In allocating opportunities for supplementary questions, the principle of fairness, among others, has been applied. If a member asking a supplementary question is unable to do so due to technological difficulties, another member from the same party will be allowed to ask a question on behalf of the member. When all supplementary questions have been answered by the Deputy President, we will proceed to the next question on the order page. The first question has been asked by Honorable Ngola to the Deputy President. Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker. Honorable Acting Speaker, on the 27th of February 2024, I addressed the National Conference on the review of the integrated criminal justice system. At that conference, I had stressed the importance of government working together with all sectors of society to fight organized crime and corruption. Similarly, I urged for collective action to tackle the intricate criminal web of construction site disruptions, which pose a threat to lives and thereby hindering economic growth and loss of jobs. Furthermore, when delivering the 2022 State of the Nation address, President Cyril Ramaphosa announced that government will establish specialized multidisciplinary units to address economic sabotage, extortion, and construction sites and vandalism of infrastructure. To this end, the South African Police Service has established 20 specialized multidisciplinary economic infrastructure task teams throughout the country, with 18 to be established at district level and 2 at provincial level. These task teams are established to enhance existing intervention to safeguard economic infrastructure, with a particular focus on Eskom, Transnet, PRASA, water infrastructure, as well as general socio-economic infrastructure. Honorable Acting Speaker, with specification reference to the alleged construction mafias, government is working with the construction industry through the Infrastructure Build Anti-Corruption Forum to fight crime and corruption in the construction sector. The Anti-Corruption Forum provides a platform for strategic interventions to protect the integrity of government infrastructure investments plan through detection and prevention of corrupt activities in the construction sector. As government, we are strengthening capacity for social facilitation to manage community.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Okay. I was saying, Honorable Speaker, Acting Speaker, as government, we are strengthening capacity for social facilitation to manage community expectation, to fight criminality in construction and other strategic sectors of our economy. In this regard, the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure is piloting the social facilitation framework, which was approved by Cabinet in May 2021 to ensure public participation, community involvement, and local beneficiation on construction projects. Acting Speaker, Honorable Acting Speaker, I encourage South Africans to report any unlawful conduct, such as threats of violence and extortion and destruction of infrastructure that may lead to stoppages of projects to the South African Police Service and other law enforcement agencies. I believe together we can do more to fight organized crime and corruption for economic growth and prosperity of our country. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The first follow-up is by Honorable Ngola.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy President, for that elaborate and concise response. It actually demonstrates the government working for its people, who are equally delighted with the concerted effort to mobilize communities to ensure that these incidents of crime are actually reported, because government can only win the war against crime when working closely with communities. Now, DP, can you enlighten this House and the people as a whole on the intention and the purpose of this 30% local business beneficiation from government projects? What did government want to achieve? And when is the social facilitation framework expected to be complete? Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ngola, for that question. Honorable Ngola, the African National Congress continues to ensure that small businesses, cooperatives, and other enterprises, particularly owned by women, continue to benefit from the programs that government is implementing. You will recall that in the year 2000, government passed, or let me say Parliament passed the preferential procurement policy framework. That was to ensure that we create opportunities for these small, medium enterprises to be able to benefit from government programs and other programs. And subsequent to that, the Minister of Finance promulgated the regulations. So where we are, a lot has happened. And in fact, as we speak, the NCOP is currently busy with the procurement bill, which will deal with some of the weaknesses that were identified after that preferential procurement the procurement regulations were passed, you'll recall that there were challenges with the Constitutional Court. So we are actually correcting that through the bill that is now before the NCOP. Obviously, one of the important things I need to emphasize that we need to continue to condemn strongly the criminality that happens on construction sites with this so-called construction mafias and so on, and ensure that the social facilitated framework should assist for government to be able to implement projects, particularly the Department of Public Works, which is having a number of projects in various areas throughout the country. Thank you, Honorable Scholar.
Thank you, Deputy President. The next question to be posed is by Honorable Gwahube.
Thank you very much, Acting Speaker. Deputy President, the construction mafia ecosystem is fueled by the corrupt relationship between unscrupulous politicians, officials, and contractors. And so to deal with this decisively, with this problem, we must tackle politicians who are enablers and beneficiaries of this. Recently, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, is alleged to have received millions to construct her personal residence. And she stands accused of 12 counts of corruption and money laundering by the NPA. We have written to all parties in the National Assembly, including your party, the ANC. Will the ANC, which you lead, Deputy President, support this motion in order to restore public trust in Parliament?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Gwahube. I'm aware that the Democratic Alliance has proposed a motion. From where I sit, Honorable Gwahube, is that the Speaker of Parliament is cooperating with the law enforcement agencies. You may also be aware that she has, on a number of occasions, said that if she was to be charged with these alleged offenses, she is prepared to step down. So my approach is that let's give those processes an opportunity so that we can know exactly what is happening. Because at the moment, because there are still investigations and she's not charged, all that remains allegations. And therefore, I think it will be premature to then ask the Speaker to relieve herself of her duties when, in fact, the allegations have not been tested. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. Honorable Mende, it's your turn. Honorable Mende, are you on the platform? It's your turn. Honorable Deputy President, it appears that the honorable member is not on the platform. Is there anybody from the EFF who takes up that question? If none, we proceed to Honorable Sheikh Imam.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Deputy President, criminal syndicates have infiltrated our supply chain process, in this case, construction mafia. But over and above this, high levels of corruption at local government level in collusion with political deployees, officials, and the public sector. Would you consider extending your intervention to include local municipalities and, where necessary, to conduct forensic audits should there be allegations leveled against any of these deployees, officials, etc.? Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Sheikh Imam. Yes, indeed. I think when there are allegations of this nature, we should ensure that there are proper investigations. including forensic investigations where necessary. I think the important thing, Honorable Sheikh Imam, is to give those who are tasked with the responsibility to investigate to be able to do so without fear or favor and not being disrupted. We must give them space to do so, because these crimes, particularly by the construction mafia, but also if we pick up that some of them are aided by people who are in authority, we need to be able to act and act decisively. So yes, Honorable Sheikh Imam, I would definitely support that. I think the important thing is that we must ensure that proper investigations are done so that nobody should say that they have been trialed in the media. They are just accusations. We need to follow all processes, but we should leave no stone unturned. Thank you very much. I support those initiatives.
Thank you. The next supplementary question is asked by Honorable Gwakube.
Are you sure, Deputy Speaker?
Yes, I'm sure. Sorry?
I think she has asked already.
I mean, I can take a second bite if you want me to.
Answer the second question.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, must go to the next question.
We are moving to the second question.
Yes.
We are moving to the second question, members. And the second question in our record is asked by Honorable Gwakube. You will have no second bite. Yeah, just proceed. The President,
when you are willing to take it, if you should not prepare
the
to.
President, Deputy President, please respond to her question.
Oh, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Acting Speaker. Honorable Acting Speaker, fighting corruption, crime and corruption remains a top priority of the ANC-led government. We continue to implement measures to strengthen the criminal justice system, including providing support to the National Prosecuting Authority. Hence, Cabinet has adopted what we call the Integrated Crime and Violence Prevention Strategy, and this was done in 2022 March, and this strategy represents a whole of government and a whole of society approach to addressing crime and violence. In this regard, Honorable Speaker, the South African Police Service has also developed increased crime prevention and combating action plan, which has been incorporated into the national policing strategy. This strategy seeks to give effect to government's commitment towards using an inclusive approach of addressing crime and violence. This strategy includes the implementation of weekly intelligence-led high-density operations within all prioritized station precincts. It's referred to as Operation Shanyela. The Ministry of Police monitors progress through this Operation Shanyela, aiming to reduce particularly violent crimes and improve community safety by enhancing a multidisciplinary approach to criminal activities. To this end, Honorable Acting Speaker, on the 5th of December last year, this House passed the National Prosecuting Authority Amendment Bill, which, when passed by Parliament, will amend the National Prosecuting Authority Act of 1998 and provide, amongst others, for the establishment of an investigating directorate against corruption, IDEC, as a permanent entity within the NPA. Honorable Acting Speaker, we have also enacted the Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act of 2004, which enhances measures to prevent and combat corruption in both the public and the private sector. Furthermore, in May 2020, the Anti-Corruption Task Team and the National Priority Committee on Organized Crime established the Fusion Center as a multidisciplinary and collaborative effort by all corruption-fighting agencies that are actively involved in the prevention and combating of corruption. Honorable Acting Speaker, we remain determined to intensify our efforts to fight crime and root out corruption and all its causes. We do so guided by the fact that we are a constitutional democracy and do not interfere with the constitutional mandate and laws governing the work of our law enforcement agencies. We expect all political parties, non-governmental organizations, and everybody else and all sectors of our society to do the same. Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Gwahube.
Deputy President, despite your commitment earlier this year in February to deal with corruption, there are allegations of corruption that are hanging over your head. The Hawks are currently investigating you and your son-in-law regarding an almost 30 million rand home in Constantia and the source of those funds. Additionally, there are questions about the use of homes owned by Edwin Sodi, a state capture accused individual. Furthermore, there are questions around the use of a 40 million rand home in Waterfall by yourself, people who do business with the state.
Yes, Honorable Member, what's the point of order?
No, thank you, Honorable Acting Speaker. I think the member knows very well that he cannot put the Deputy President on the spot. If he says anything, she must bring a substantive motion as she has requested you to do that. I think that she's putting the horse before the cart to expect the President, the Deputy President to answer that question now. Thank you, Chair.
The order is sustained in terms of Rule 85. Honorable Gwahube, you should know that. You are Chief Whip.
Deputy Speaker, let me proceed to my question. While these matters are still under investigation and the probes are ongoing, given your commitment, Deputy President, to fighting corruption, will you take the country into your confidence and be brave this morning and give an explanation as to what these allegations are about and the sources of the funds used for them? Thank you.
Honorable Deputy President, I have ruled on this matter. I have ruled on this matter. Honorable Gwahube has no basis to expect you, Deputy President, to respond to the platform-generated allegations. That matter is out of order and it cannot be accepted. Yes, so if you don't have any question, we will proceed to the next supplementary question. Honorable Honorable Swar, proceed.
Deputy Speaker.
Deputy Speaker. What's your point, Honorable Gwahube?
Deputy Speaker, the original question pertains to an address the Deputy President gave and the commitment that he made around dealing with corruption. There are allegations that have been leveled against him. All I'm asking him is to take the country into his confidence and provide some insight into that. There's nothing absolutely out of order with doing that. I'm not leveling accusations against him. I'm not besmirching his name. I'm asking him, based on his commitment, will he, on this platform, to the people of this country, provide some insight? Because he has yet to do so. And I'm not sure how that is against the rules.
Honorable Gwahube, you are justifying the allegations that you are putting across to the Deputy President by way of a question. They are not directly related, and you should desist from proceeding on that basis. I've ruled on this matter, and it's unacceptable that you want
Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker.
Yes, sir.
The norm is to also, even though you've made your ruling, but the norm is to actually put the question to the Deputy President and ask him whether he's willing to answer the question.
The first norm, Honorable Kwankwa, the first norm is to obey the rules of the House. That's the first rule. You obey the rules of the House first, and then you can proceed to the next part of what is appropriate and not ruled out of order.
Honorable Speaker, I can assist them.
Proceed. Yeah, go ahead if you so wish,
Yes.
Honorable President. But remember that
I was going to say, Honorable Speaker, that so that Honorable Kwahube must not think we are running away. I was going to say to Honorable Kwahube, I have received questions from the Ethics Committee after she complained to Parliament, and I will be responding to those questions, which is basically the issues that she's raising. So perhaps Honorable Kwahube can wait for that moment. They've given me 7 days to clarify those issues. So those responses will definitely come to Parliament next week. And Honorable Kwahube will be free to see those responses. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
See, problem solved.
Honorable Kwankwa, I have words I may use to you right now. You dare do that again, you are out of order. There's nothing I told you so. Honorable Swart.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. Arising from your response, Honorable Deputy President, it is the primary role of the state to protect its citizens. And the ACDP believes that it is largely failing in this regard, given the high levels of crime that is destroying communities with corruption and other crimes affecting businesses. It seems our nation has lost its moral compass. Does the Honorable Deputy President believe that churches and other faith-based organizations can play a far bigger role in instilling moral principles and values, self-control, respect for life and property? And if so, what steps will government take to approach churches and faith-based organizations in this regard? The ACDP would like to wish all believers a very blessed Passover. Remember, Good Friday is here, but Resurrection Sunday is coming. Malabongwe Gamalen Kosi.
Thank
Praise
you.
the name of the Lord, Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Acting Speaker. Igama lenkosi Malibongwe, Honorable Swart, you are correct. In fact, it's like you heard me speaking the previous weekend. I was speaking in a church in the Free State, and this is what I've been saying to churches, that the fight against crime, dealing with community issues is not just the work of government, but is a work of all of us. I said in my earlier response that we need a whole of government and a whole of society approach. And that's what we should be doing. And I can agree more with you that churches can play a major role in this regard as the moral compass of our society. One of the responsibilities the President has given me is to actually work with the churches, work with traditional leaders. So I've spent a lot of time going around the country, meeting with religious leaders. In the Free State last week, Sunday, I attended 3 churches. And in the Northwest as well, I attended a number of churches. This weekend, as you say, it's the Easter weekend. Tomorrow is Good Friday. I will be attending churches in the Eastern Cape, and I will take forward the message that together, churches, government, private sector, the whole of society, we can defeat crime if we work together. We can defeat corruption if we work together and support our law enforcement agencies. So I agree with you, Honorable Swart. The churches have a major role to play. Thank you very much.
The next supplementary question is Mr. F.J. Mulder, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Honorable Acting Speaker, Honorable Deputy President. Ultimately, the impact of the Deputy President's views on combating crime and corruption would depend on the extent to which they translate into concrete actions, policies and reforms, as well as the level of support and cooperation from other stakeholders in the government and society. Political leaders in government have proved not to be committed or able to address these issues or themselves implicated in corrupt practices which undermine the effectiveness of anti-corruption efforts. Even if the Deputy President expresses strong views against corruption, the ability of government to translate these views into concrete actions may be hindered. How will the Deputy President, Government and Security Cluster rectify this established perception and rebuild the broken trust? Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Deputy President.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Thank you, Honourable Acting Speaker. Indeed, I think crime will not be defeated only by us making speeches. So, Honourable Member is right, you need concrete action. That's why I was saying earlier in my response that government has come up with what we refer to as a multidisciplinary and integrated approach to fighting crime. Apart from what I said about Operation Shaniela, we're making sure that other agencies of state are also well-resourced, and we make sure that there's this strong coordination. Honorable Member might know that I'm the chair of the Justice and Crime Prevention Strategy Committee, JCPS. And one of the things we do there, we bring everybody together, the defense, police, and justice and intelligence. And we indicate to them that we need concrete plans that are integrated. When police are fighting crime, they need to have intelligence. So the intelligence must support them, crime intelligence. In some areas where police need to do raids, they need the army to support them, South African National Defence Force. So these strategies that I've alluded to, integrated crime and violence prevention strategy, ensuring that there is a serious focus on organized crime. All these are plans that ensure that we actually are on the ground and doing the work rather than just appealing to people. We, of course, have to appeal to people not to commit crime, but we must take actions. I did say, I think last year in one of my responses to questions, that we must also revive the community policing forum in our communities. They must work with the police because the communities themselves should be the eyes and ears of the police on the ground. So, Honorable Member, I agree with you that concrete actions are needed, and in fact, that's what exactly we are doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy President. The next question. The Honorable Siabi. Sorry, I nearly jumped you.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. And thanks to the Deputy President for emphasizing that the government of the day is really committed to deal with crime and corruption. Deputy President, the issuing of bail has been a continuous challenge faced by the South African Police Service. They are often condemned when an accused person who is out on bail commits a crime, and moreover blamed for granting the accused person bail, whereas the issuing of bail is not within their purview. Can you, Deputy President, kindly indicate whether the review of bail legislation, as you said in February, is taking these concerns, condemnations, and accusations against the police into account, and whether the review will examine more severe penalties for an accused person who commits crime while out on bail. Thank you, Acting Speaker.
Deputy President.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Siab. Yes, the issue of bail is in fact a very worrying issue in our communities. And it also, Honorable Siabi, creates other problems. I was in Mpumalanga sometime early this year, and the communities complains that there's this criminal who's doing a lot of wrong things, killing people, and the police arrested this criminal, and then he was out on bail, and again, and it ended up with the communities murdering this person. They actually killed him, which is not something we want to see, because communities are saying, we are tired, these criminals get arrested, before you know it, they are back in our streets. So I agree that the South African Law Reform Commission should carefully look at this issue of actually tightening bail rules or requirements. I think the review of the Criminal Procedure Act, as commissioned by the Minister of Justice, is going to look at exactly this. We should make it difficult for these hardcore criminals to walk our streets. And if we tighten the rules, magistrates and judges will obviously be able to impose these strict rules. We will also look at it through the JCPS to see if this is tight enough. But I have heard on numerous occasions, the Minister of Police has also complained about this. To say, look, we work hard as the police service, we arrest criminals, and then the courts put them back on our streets. So the reform of the bail conditions and rules, it's absolutely necessary to tighten the conditions so that criminals must not find it easy to come back into our communities and commit crimes again. Thank you very much, Honorable Siabi, for the question.
Thank you, Deputy President. The third question, Deputy President, is asked by Honorable Shuvambu, but he's not on the platform, so you may answer it, because other members are here to make their supplementary questions.
Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker. Honorable Acting Speaker, we are building a developmental state that has the capacity to redirect and manage resources towards resolving the challenges of poverty, unemployment, and inequality. We equally believe that we need, once again, in addressing this matter, the whole of society approach, including and particularly working with the private sector to realize this goal of reducing poverty, unemployment, but also to move our society towards a more equal society. We equally believe that government and the private sector should work together to grow the economy and create necessary employment. And we need, therefore, to strengthen social compacts. You will recall, Honorable Speaker, that this is something that the President emphasized, particularly in the State of the Nation address in 2019, that we need social compacts, the private sector, government, and other important sectors of society should work together. During my address to the 7th Annual Solution Exchange Conference on the 12th of October last year, I emphasized the significance of fostering effective collaboration between various stakeholders. I further emphasize that government remains committed to increasing private sector investments to promote job creation and building on the existing partnership between business and government to strengthen economic recovery that can create jobs in many industries, particularly your network industries, and that would include energy, transport, logistics sectors, amongst others. Equally, I stress the importance of encouraging self-employment and entrepreneurship. Hence, as government, we continue to play a leading role in fostering growth by creating jobs through various means beyond the public service. So let me stress that, Honorable Speaker, that as government, we continue to play a leading role in fostering growth by creating jobs through various means beyond the public service. Because people have the notion that when government talks about job creation is employing people in the public service to come and work in various government departments. We do much more than that. We support small, medium, micro enterprises through our public procurement, especially in the state-owned enterprises. We have also organized that while we support economic recovery, government should continue to support the creation of short-term employment. Hence, we have programs that the president has now implemented, the Presidential Employment Stimulus, the Presidential Youth Employment Intervention, and also the expanded public works program that is driven by the Department of Public Works. Honorable Acting Speaker, these programs have been a major success as they managed to create over 1.7 million work and livelihood opportunities, including, for example, school assistance positions in 23,000 schools throughout the country. Furthermore, the South African Youth Mobi, a zero-rated platform, has engaged more than 4.3 million young people and secured more than 1 million opportunities for them. Young people look up to more than took up more than 84% of these more than 1 million opportunities created, but also including women who accounted for 64% of this more than 1 million opportunities. Honorable Acting Speaker, the ANC-led government is committed to forge ahead with long-term partnerships across all sectors. In other words, government, private sector, as well as civil society, to pave the path for a dynamic, competitive, fast-growing economy capable of competing with the best in the world while producing much-needed jobs. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. If Honorable Shivambo is still not present to take the supplementary.
I'm here.
Sorry?
I'm here on behalf of Honorable Shivambu.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy President, today there are 11 million people who are unemployed. These are people who are willing to work, ready to read, and are actively looking for jobs, but cannot find any. The majority of these are young people and meaningful people who should be entering the labor force as active and meaningful participants. More than 3 million of the unemployed have lost all hope of ever finding work. When the president says it is not his job to create employment, but the task of the private sector, is he not sending a message that he has failed, especially since his term is effectively ending in a few days? Have you and your collective not failed to create jobs in the past 5 years? You were mandated by the voters in 2019. Deputy President, you're speaking about temporary employment, which is not sustainable for the young people. We're talking about permanent employment here. And can you indeed confirm to the South Africans that you have not failed as this collective? Thanks.
Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Kwebane. It is true that there are many people in our country who are unemployed, and I agree with you that many of those are young people. That is why Honorable Kwebane was emphasizing the fact that the President came up with these initiatives that I alluded to earlier, your youth employment initiatives, particularly to target young people, create platforms where there are opportunities for them to access. In fact, the good thing, Honorable Kwebane, is that after COVID, we were all worried about the devastations thereof. But the good news is that if we look at where we are now, in fact, the South African economy has started to grow once again. Not to the extent that will make us happy and will create the kind of jobs that we need to create, but it's a positive thing that the economy has started to grow again. I think what we need to do is to push harder to take that growth even higher. And we are discussing that in government, particularly through infrastructure investments. I think we can be able to achieve higher levels of growth. In many of our provinces, there are initiatives now to implement infrastructure projects. I was in the Northwest recently, and I found that there are a lot of projects that the government is implementing there. They are fixing roads, potholes, building new facilities. And this should happen across the country, throughout our provinces. The statement that the President says government is not the work of government to create jobs or the responsibility of government, it may be taken out of context because what we are saying that primarily many jobs come from the private sector. So I think what the President was saying that when people talk about unemployment, they often accuse government of not creating jobs. And the President was saying it's not just the responsibility of government. In fact, the biggest creators of jobs is the private sector. We do create employment as government, as I said in my response, through a number of programs. But what we do even better is to create the environment for the private sector to be able to thrive. Their businesses must be working properly, and they will create many, many more jobs. So in short, Honorable Kwebane, we need a collaborative approach where government and the private sector become strong partners in this regard, so that together we can create jobs. There should be no finger pointing that you government must create jobs and government says, no, you the private sector. I think the collaborative approach is the way to go. And we should be able to deal with this problem decisively. So I would support the initiatives that are already out there. I've already said 1.7 million young people benefiting the presidential employment intervention and other programs. There are already sectoral master plans that are in place, and government is supporting a lot of these initiatives. So, Honorable Speaker, I think it is in fact the role of government to ensure that jobs are created working with the private sector, because government alone will not succeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy President. Honorable Skosana, it's your turn.
Ngiyathokoza. Honorable Speaker, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Ndade. We're listening to you.
Yeah, ngiyathokoza Mhlonishwa Acting Speaker. Mhlonishwa Sekela Mongameli, I am of the view that the question you have been asked demonstrate lack of sincerity. The ANC-led government has consistently called through its policies over the past 30 years for a mutually reinforcing relationship between government and the private sector and other key role players like workers' organizations and communities to deal with job creation. So it is wrong to argue that it is either one or the other who must take the primary responsibility for job creation. Mhlonishwa Sekela Mongameli, please outline the commitment on the creation and sustainability of the 2.5 million work opportunities of delivering public goods and services in communities in meeting the needs for jobs and basic services. Ngiyathokoza Mhlonishwa Acting Speaker.
Thank you, sir. Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable Skosana. Honorable Skosana, you'll recall that immediately after COVID-19, the government launched a number of public employment programs, or perhaps I should say a collection of them. And that led to what came to be known as the presidential employment stimulus, because we were concerned ourselves that government cannot sit back and hope that somebody else will create the jobs that are needed in our country. So the employment, presidential employment stimulus was then created. And by the way, Honorable Skosana, that program has been since been extended, so it's still in place. And in March of this year, it was allocated a budget of 42 billion rands, because we need to see more activities on the ground. But if you look at from 2023, this program has in fact created more than 1.8 million jobs. So it's quite a very important intervention. But we also, if you recall, had the job summit. We hosted the job summit in 2018 and came up with a framework that should help us to create employment. So in short, I should say that these initiatives are helping. A number of job opportunities have been created, and the interventions cut across many sectors. It includes assisting small, medium enterprises, the township economy, and so forth. So I would say, Honorable Skosana, that the current administration has been facilitating the creation of jobs. You'll recall that at the investment summit, the president announced that we are targeting investments of 1.2 trillion. And in fact, we have surpassed that target by now. We've really have had a very positive response from the investment community, including foreign direct investments that are flowing in since that investment conference in 2018 since the job summit that looked at how we create employment. We are currently engaged in the review of these commitments that we have made. But as we speak at the moment, more than 500 billion rand has already flowed into our economy in many sectors. So yes, the government has been active throughout in this space of ensuring that we create necessary employment and employment opportunities in all our sectors, and particularly, Honorable Skosana, targeting young people. Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. Honorable members, Honorable Dena from the Freedom Front Plus, it's your turn. Are you here?
Deputy Speaker, this is Honorable Breed speaking. I will be taking it on her behalf.
You're welcome. Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. It's good to see you. Honorable Deputy President, I think rather that the private sector creates jobs in spite of the government and not because of. But let me get to my question. Are there specific official directives on the process and the preconditions for state departments on these so-called partnerships or the taking of hands with the private sector with regards to job creation? And if so, will you make it available to the public? If the answer is no, then it is clear that the objectives of job creation is only a pipe dream and propaganda exercise for the ANC. Thank you.
Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Thank you, Honorable Acting Speaker. Honorable Member, we are committed as government working with the private sector to create jobs. Hence, I emphasize a number of programs that have been initiated right from the top, from the Presidency. And those programs are doing very well. Young people are responding to these platforms. They get opportunities. But the private sector has also been working very well with government. Since the announcement by the President that we need social compact, you may recall, Honorable Member, that not long ago, the private sector had a meeting with the President where they agreed on coming up with various working groups. The working groups looking at the energy issues, working group looking at infrastructure. Those working groups are busy as we speak, and they are coming with a lot of master plans in all those sectors to be able to also pull resources together, because that's one important thing. Government has its own budget that it brings in. The private sector has resources as well. So the private sector plays a very important role in creating employment and issues of trade, etc. But it must always be a partnership. So I wouldn't agree with you that the issues of creating jobs is just a pipe dream. It's actually something that we are actively pushing, and the results are there. I just said earlier on that the economy is growing positively, although at the level that is a bit low. We want to see much bigger growth. And as the economy grows, obviously jobs are being created. I will at some point come up with the figures for the current year once they're out. But all indications are that we are moving into the positive in terms of growth and employment creation. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. Honorable Ngo. Is there
Honorable
member? Honorable Manjosi, is that you? Who's that?
No.
Honorable
Thank
Sengwa.
you, Acting Speaker. Yes. Thank you, Acting Speaker. I'll take the question for Honorable Ngobo.
Okay.
Honorable Deputy President, to an extent, we can agree that the only way to reduce unemployment, inequality, and hunger is by the government creating an establishing environment of all businesses to flourish. I would like to know what steps has the government taken to ensure simplicity for business operation and legislation in order to encourage employment? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker. Honorable Member, on behalf of Honorable Nobo, yes, thank you for the question. Indeed, it is the responsibility of government to create an enabling environment for businesses to flourish. Because as I said earlier in answering this question, that yes, government can create jobs, but very minimal. We can employ people in our various state-owned entities, in government departments and agencies, etc. But the creation of enabling environment for the private sector to flourish is very important, because they are then able to bring much more resources to bear and to be able to employ much more people. One of the examples I may give, Honorable Member, I visited a place recently in the Free State, and I managed to go to a farming community to meet the farmers. And I was introduced to emerging Black farmers who had just acquired a big apple farm. And they are going to extend it with another 100 hectares. And when they were giving a briefing, these farmers in the Free State said to me, Honorable Deputy President, if it was not for the support of the Free State government, particularly the Department of Agriculture through the MEC, we would not have been able to do this transaction. They said, now we own this big apple farm. We supply apples in the country, in Europe. You know, they even gave me names of the apples that they supply, because I went to the actual farm where I managed to see the apples that are being produced there. Now, this is one of the examples that with government intervention, we have the success story of business people, these emerging farmers. And they said to me, in addition, Deputy President, we also have a processing facility that we now own. Of course, not 100%. They are with other white farmers in the area, but it's a good partnership. And I did thank the Premier of the Free State and the MEC for that intervention, creating that kind of support. Now our farmers are growing, are creating employment, and that's a good thing. So you're quite right. We need to continue these efforts of creating the environment for businesses to be able to flourish. So that's just one example of perhaps many stories that are happening throughout our country. And these are stories of success. Thank you, Honorable Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. The next question, number 4, is asked by Honorable Murwani, Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Acting Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Murwani, for the question. Honorable Acting Speaker, last year, we launched the revised National Strategic Plan for HIV, TB, and STIs for the period 2023 to 2028. The new NSP is a blueprint and a roadmap for a multi-sectoral and people-centered approach to eliminate HIV, TB, and STIs as public health threats, and this should be done by the year 2030. Through the South African National AIDS Council, SANAC, we have implemented various interventions that have had a significant impact in addressing the challenges of HIV and TB. This intervention includes HIV testing services through what we call Cheka Mpilo. Apology, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Just fixing my mind. There's a program, as I said, Honorable Deputy Speaker, called Cheka Mpilo. It's a wellness campaign. And then we have antiretroviral therapy provision, distribution of condoms, voluntary medical male circumcision program, psychosocial support services to individuals affected by HIV, and programs to address stigma and discrimination as well. South Africa is dealing with co-infection of HIV and TB, and therefore our intervention also focus on dealing with the TB epidemic. So we're not just dealing with HIV, we're dealing with both of them, as I indicate that it's really, they have become co-infections. Honorable Acting Speaker, in this regard, we are implementing what we call a TB recovery plan as well, to find undiagnosed people with TB, strengthen linkages to TB treatment, strengthen retention in care, as well as strengthening the efforts to prevent the disease. Collectively, these interventions have resulted in a continuous decline in HIV infections in the country. In 2022, there was an estimated 164,000 new HIV infections, and this number has now dropped to 146,000 new HIV infections by last year. Our performance towards the attainment of the United Nations AIDS targets of 95, 95, 95 is gaining momentum, and the count is currently on 95, 79, 93. This means, Acting Speaker, that 95% of people living with HIV know their status. 79% of those who know their status are on treatment. And 93% of those on treatment have suppressed the viral load. So that's what we mean by 95, 79, 93. But of course, we're working towards our target is 95, 95, 95. And our plan is to get there in terms of our NSP by 2028. Honorable Acting Speaker, on World AIDS Day last year, we also launched the South African chapter of the Global Alliance on Ending AIDS in Children, and this will be by 2030, which will help to prevent new infection and improve treatment outcomes amongst children and adolescents. As a country, we have nearly eliminated mother-to-child transmission of HIV. To ensure easy access to treatment and to foster retention in care, the Department of Health is implementing a system where clients can collect their medication at various external pickup points and not only at health facilities. Linked to this innovation is the multi-month dispensing of medication, which reduces the number of frequency visits to health facilities by clients. These differentiated models of care also serve to decongest health facilities because, Honorable Speaker, we know that in the past you'd have many people queuing for long hours in our health facilities. So we're beginning to eliminate that. In addition to these interventions, the country is working with academic and research institutions in an endeavor to eventually find a cure for HIV, despite it being a complex process. We continue to educate and sensitize communities against stigma and discrimination, which have been proven to be barriers in accessing treatment and health-seeking behavior by our communities. This is a very important issue, Honorable Acting Speaker, because if the stigma continues, people don't want to come out openly. They don't want to collect their medication. They don't want to be seen because of the stigmatization, and they get discriminated because they are affected by HIV and AIDS. Honorable Acting Speaker, earlier this week on Sunday, the 24th of March, under the auspices of SANAC, we launched what we call the Situation Room, which is a state-of-the-art data consolidation and visualization hub built at the SANAC offices in Pretoria. This platform can be accessed virtually from anywhere in the world. This is one other measure that will further strengthen our response through evidence-based decision-making. We will continue to ensure that communities are at the center of our intervention because it is communities themselves who must play a leading role in the sustainability of our HIV response program. May I add TB as well. Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. Honorable Mrwane.
Thank you very much, Acting Speaker. Ke a leboga. Ni rhandza ku khensa Deputy President ku vulavula ka n'wina na ku hlamula ka n'wina loku nga enta ku tlhela ku dzika. Indeed, the achievement of the ANC-led government in tackling HIV/AIDS are the daily experience of more than 6.1 million South Africans under antiretroviral treatment, and our achievement of the UNAIDS global target and the achievement that you have just elaborated of 95-95. It's so impressive to learn and to know that we are just 2% away from meeting the 95% target. Fighting the spread of HIV and AIDS requires all South Africans to continuously check their status. We call on all South Africans to follow the ABC message, particularly the youth, so that we must increase the use of protection as South Africans to reduce the risk. Honorable Deputy President, what measures are being planned and implemented by your caring ANC-led government to increase the number of persons infected with HIV to be on antiretroviral treatment to achieve the 95% target? Nakhensa, Deputy President. Thank you, Honorable Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker. Cancer Seswamena, Honorable Mweran. The important intervention, Honorable Mweran, it's to make sure that more and more people are enrolled on treatment. I think that's very important. The program like Check-in Pilo, it's really assisting us with that to get more people enrolled on treatment. as I said earlier, it's a national wellness campaign that we decided to drive it as a campaign so that we get more people who are diagnosed with HIV to be placed on treatment immediately after testing positive. I did say earlier that there are a number of other programs. One of them is what we call the Welcome Back campaign. That this one is really to say to people who, because some of the people discontinue the treatment for various reasons. So we're trying to use this campaign to get them back for treatment, because when they discontinue, it may be because of stigmatization and other reasons. So we do hope that this campaign is going to help us to get them back. I did say earlier that we've also launched the Global Alliance on Ending HIV/AIDS in Children by 2030. So we are doing our best to ensure that there's accessibility to testing, so that we do close this treatment gap, particularly on infants, children, adolescents, those who are living or exposed to HIV, but particularly also pregnant and breastfeeding mothers. We need to attend to them. In this program, we're particularly targeting adolescents, girls, and women living with HIV. Those are some of the interventions that we are busy with. We want to ensure that we can put as many people on treatment as possible. Where we are now, I think the target of 95 is achievable if we can just reinforce these interventions. We are confident that the combination of these strategies will assist us to achieve this target of 95. We are working also with a number of international bodies. There are a lot of donor organizations that are supporting our work, and there's no reason that we'll not be able to succeed in achieving the 95% target of viral suppression. So by 2030, we do hope that ultimately we can end AIDS as a public health threat. Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. Honorable Clark.
Thank you, Chairperson. I would like to ask the following. Deputy President, it is evident that NGO-driven programs such as PEPFAR play a crucial role in complementing government's efforts in combating the HIV/AIDS epidemic. However, South Africa continues to grapple with the highest HIV rate globally. So it is imperative that these vital programs remain intact and effective. What concrete steps will government take to ensure the sustainability and the continuous impact of initiatives like the US President Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief and other NGO-driven interventions? Please provide this Parliament with such detail, and what resources will be provided to support these programs. Please also explain how government's foreign policy, which lately seems to be focused on causing strife with the USA, will ensure the continuous programs of its HIV prevention efforts. It is not enough to simply rely on the existence. Proactive measures are needed to safeguard the longevity and effectiveness of these programs. Thank you, Chair.
What's the point of order, Honorable Member?
Chairperson, the rules are very clear that the follow-up question must be only one, and it must not be of statistical nature. So the members really putting the Deputy President on the spot. Thank you.
Honorable members, honorable member, Kalantule, Nilale, Lokala nje. Kufanele ukuthi uvule umlomo wakho ungacelwanga. Honorable members, it is the rule, as I said right at the beginning, that the first requirement is that we must play by the rules. If we don't, then we disrupt things. Honorable member, the rule is you ask one question. And Deputy President, please respond to what you may.
Thank you, Honorable Acting Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Clerk. Yes, indeed, the initiative by NGOs are very important. I'm currently the chairperson of SANAC, as appointed by the President, and I do work with a lot of NGOs in our programs, including, as I said earlier, international NGOs, donor funds, funding agencies. Yes, Honorable Clerk, the levels of HIV in the country are quite high. By 2023 December, we recorded about 7.9 million people in South Africa who are living with HIV. So it is true that the country remains highly burdened with this disease. But it's not because of the failure of programs. In fact, my own conclusion is that without the interventions we're making now, things could be worse. We do need to give these programs a chance to show their effectiveness. So if you had to ask me, will I support initiatives by these various NGOs? The answer is yes, and let's work together. Our government policy does not create an environment where we don't work with the US. In fact, as we speak, Minister Pandwe just returned from the United States. So we continue to work with the US. There is a lot of funding that comes from UNAIDS and other organizations. And there is no indication that those programs are at risk of any sorts. We believe that we will continue to get more donor funding. But remember, that we as the South African government are also putting a lot of resources through the various departments. We were currently doing it a lot with the Department of Health. At the last meeting of SANAC on the 24th of March, last weekend, it was agreed that myself and the Minister of Health must engage Cabinet to ensure that all other departments come on board with funding. The Department of Social Development has been one of the biggest funders in addition to health, but we want more other departments to come on board so that we don't burden just one or two departments. So we're putting a lot of funding because most of the donor funding we receive is not used for the operation work of SANAC. It's to fund directly the programs of treatment and all other interventions. So the South African government takes the responsibility for funding the operations of SANAC. And we estimate that just in this financial year, we will just spend well over 56 million rands on these initiatives. So we we are looking into that because we want to have a strong secretariat that should not run out of funds. But definitely, we will continue to work with NGOs.
Thank you, Deputy President. Honorable Ntangwini.
Thank you so much, Acting Speaker. It's Honorable Sonyana. I will take it on behalf of Honorable Ntangwini. Deputy President, there's been a notable reduction in HIV and AIDS awareness programs in the country as compared to previously. The messages of abstaining, condomizing, and faithfulness are no longer as prevalent as before. Linked with the deteriorating social economic conditions, which make exploitation of young women by older moneyed men more prevalent, this creates conditions for the rapid spread of HIV. What has contributed to the government's retreat from intensive HIV awareness campaigns, and how are you planning to mainstream the prevention messages again? Thank you, Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member, Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Sonyan. I take your point that the messages like abstention, etc., need to be more visible as they used to. So as SANAC, we are looking at all those issues. That's why if you look at we're running most of our program as campaigns to create awareness, to really hammer the message home that people must come, get tested, come for screening, HIV self-screening. We're focusing on post-exposure prophylaxis and other interventions. But I agree with you that messages that have worked in the past, we should not drop them. We need to actively bring them forward, particularly when you target young people. These messages must continue to be on our program. So we're looking at a number of things, expanding men's health programs, and increasing finding people who are HIV positive, because people don't willingly come out for testing. So sometimes you may have cases of people that we don't know. Honorable Speaker, people that we don't know of who have HIV. So there is going to be a very strong campaign by SANAC to ensure that we create huge awareness in this regard. To achieve the targets of 95 do require a very strong campaign out there, and that's what SANAC is working on as we speak. Thank you, Honorable Deputy Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. Honorable Slangwa, MD.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. Honorable Deputy President, while HIV prevention pills are freely available to all South Africans through most public sector clinics, researchers at the Health Economic and Epidemiology Research Office at the University of Witwatersrand have reported that government clinics are often an access barrier due to barrier to their hours, their long queues, their discrimination, and sometimes the prejudicial attitude and drive away and drive people away. Deputy President, having said that, HIV prevention pills are freely available to all South Africans through most public sector clinics. However, I would like to know what work the government has done to ensure that people living with the remote areas that are far from the nearest public clinics are also provided with sufficient access to HIV prevention pills on a regular basis. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Hlenga, for the question. Honorable Hlenga, you'll recall that earlier on, in responding to this question, I did allude to the fact that we are nearly there, but in eliminating mother-to-child transmission to HIV. And the reason is because of these programs that we have come up with. But you are spot on to say that you have observed these challenges of, long queues and people struggling to get medication. Because there's something else to say to people, look, they can't get medication and then they are in long queues and maybe end up leaving. So what SANAC is doing now with the Department of Health and other partners is to ensure that, because we want to ensure easy access to treatment and to foster retention in care, we've agreed that the Department of Health will implement a system where, as I said earlier, clients can collect their medication in various external pickup points. So in other words, they don't only have to go to a health facility. So there will be various pickup points that they can use. And also linked to this innovation, SANRAL has also agreed that the multi-month dispensing of medication is very important. It reduces the number of frequency visits to health facilities so that people don't have to be rushing to health facilities all the time. So we do hope that these interventions will help, particularly to decongest our health facilities. So you are quite correct that the facilities do get congested, long queues, people coming all the time. But if you have this multi-month dispensing, people don't have to come to our facilities every month. But also if we make it easy for them to pick up their medication in different locations, then it means you'll do away with the congestion at our health facilities. So that's what we are doing, Honorable Hlenga. I do hope that these interventions will help. Thank you, Honorable Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. We now move to question 5 by Honorable Singh, Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker. Honorable Acting Speaker, since I assumed my responsibility as leader of government business, I have been working very well with the presiding officers of Parliament to ensure that cabinet ministers do attend to their constitutional responsibilities in Parliament, that is both the National Assembly and the NCOP. This is because Section 92 of the Constitution stipulates that members of cabinet are accountable collectively and individually to Parliament for the exercise of their powers and performance of their functions. The collective responsibility of cabinet implies that ministers are jointly responsible for the conduct of government and must fully account to Parliament as provided for in the Constitution. Honorable Acting Speaker, in my capacity as the leader of government business, I do report to Cabinet on status of unanswered questions for oral reply and written reply to both the National Assembly and the NCOP, amongst other matters. And this is done every time Cabinet sits fortnightly. I present this report. This is one of the most effective tools we are utilizing to hold individual cabinet ministers to account. So what we do, Acting Speaker, through this mechanism, cabinet ministers with more than 10 outstanding parliamentary questions are required to inform the leader of government business in writing, and they must answer the reason, give the reasons for the unanswered questions, and indicate remedial action to be taken to address those matters. Whenever there are more than 10 questions are unanswered when Cabinet sit, I take the report to Cabinet and we highlight which ministers have outstanding questions. And in that instance, if they have not given reasons to the leader of government business, they have to answer to Cabinet. So it's the highest level of accountability. Honorable Acting Speaker, in September of 2021, the Rules Committee of this House adopted new mechanisms on delayed replies to parliamentary questions. Amongst other things, the adopted mechanism enabled the Speaker to write to affected cabinet ministers on a quarterly basis, requesting reasons for failure to meet the deadlines of all questions that are late or not replied to. Furthermore, the Speaker writes to the leader of government business, informing the leader of government business about outstanding replies and correspondence sent to affected ministers. And as a last resort, the Speaker may escalate the matter of an unanswered parliamentary question through a formal complaint to the President. So that's the last resort when people are not responding positively. And through the enforcement of these mechanisms, we have observed a tremendous decline on the number of lapsed questions, where only one question lapsed in the National Assembly during the last parliamentary session in 2023, as compared to 83 that lapsed in 2022. So it means by end of last year, we had improved tremendously. Honorable Acting Speaker, moving forward, we will continue to encourage cabinet ministers not only to respond to parliamentary questions within stipulated timeframes, but to ensure that the responses are based on commitment made through government policies, because many of the questions that are sent to cabinet ministers are about government policies, government programs, government decisions, strategic plans, annual performance plans, budget, etc. So they should ensure that their responses adequately addresses these matters genuinely, because they address the concerns of our people out there. So that's what we are currently doing, Honorable Singh, and I've seen great improvement to date, and I think the system is beginning to bear fruit. Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. Honorable Singh, I don't know whether you are here to take your own question.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead then.
I'm here somewhere in the universe, Honorable Acting Speaker. Thank you very much. Yeah. And you know where.
When I say here, I mean on the ether. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm here. Thank you, Deputy President, for that response. And I'm glad you mentioned Section 92, the responsibility of Cabinet Minister individually and collectively. And whilst I recognize the improvements that you have spelled out to us, I believe personally that there's just too much of red tape in bringing to the attention of a minister that their questions have not been answered on time. And by the time you write to each minister and look for 10 questions, I think our constituents that implore us to ask some of these questions get very, very depressed and anxious. And Honorable Deputy President, we're going to a stage now of questions that will lapse. I know particularly like in Home Affairs, there are questions people are not getting their queries answered for years. And this is not satisfactory. So whilst we have oral questions, the time expires, while we have written questions, while we have all of this, Honorable President, I'd like to know, has any minister faced the consequences in cabinet for not answering questions on time? Because there are some serial offenders that we have. Thank you.
Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Acting Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Singh. Well, at the moment, the ministers have not really faced consequences. I want to assume that is because we made a lot of improvements. One of the things perhaps we should do, Honorable Singh, is because when members ask questions to ministers, I think there should be a way of these members being able to interact with ministers and not wait for too long. Because by the time the matter comes to the leader of government business is when it's clear that this is taking too long. There are ministers who have said to me that the reason they take too long sometimes is because they have agencies. You'd find that, a Minister of Transport has got other agencies like Sandral, etc. So when questions are asked, they have to get some of the information from the agencies and then they get delayed. But I think if we remove the red tape and ensure much active interaction, people will be able to understand where the blockage is. We also don't want to end a parliamentary session with questions that lapses, because most of these questions are about changing the lives of our people out there. I know that currently there are questions that are still outstanding. We dealt with that yesterday in cabinet. It was only 2 ministers that had more than 10 outstanding questions. We've asked them to please finalize that because cabinet will have another cabinet meeting before we stop for the current term. We're going to try to clean all that, but currently we're standing at only 2 ministers that needs to deal with outstanding questions. Ideally is that by the time we end the term, there shouldn't be any question that is outstanding. But Honorable Singh, I think one of the pressures we put on ministers is that every time cabinet sits, every fortnight, I give a report on this matter. And ministers are asked to explain why they haven't answered questions. So I think that the system is improving. We'll look at how we can continue to improve it going forward, but it's much better than in 2022. Thank you, Honorable Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. Honorable Ramulbeng.
Thank you so much, Acting Speaker. Thank you so much for a comprehensive response, Deputy President. There's been a notable improvement in the level of accountability of executive members who attend to their various portfolio committees meetings and also respond to questions on those portfolio committee meetings and other various matters as part of accountability. We note that only one question lapsed in the National Assembly during the 2022 parliamentary session compared to 83 during the 2022 parliamentary session, a great improvement indeed. We also see a number of deputy ministers executing accountability functions in the absence of ministers. Also, that forms part of accountability, and we commend. Honorable Deputy President, as the leader of government business in Parliament, what have you found are areas requiring improvement in relation to the interface between the executive and Parliament? I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker and Honorable Ramulube. Indeed, there has been great improvement in accountability. I think one of the reasons why we have this great improvement, we should also give credit to Parliament itself. We have a very active Parliament. As you said, Honorable Member, ministers come and attend portfolio committees and so on, answer questions, and where ministers are not available, deputy ministers do come to appear before committees. So the active Parliament that we have assisted to ensure accountability of the executive, and we are quite happy with that. There may be other challenges that we need to look at. For instance, some of my colleagues would have problems because some of the committees will want them to appear on the day the cabinet is sitting. And we're busy trying to look into that because we don't want to interfere with the work of Parliament and the committees, but just to streamline the way we work to ensure that accountability is strengthened, but at the same time, all members are able to do their work. So as the leader of government business, I do believe that the kind of system we've developed at the moment is working. And I work very closely with the presiding officers in this regard. And we have a committee that brings us together to look at all these issues. We do, of course, need to strengthen programming. And perhaps this might be dealt with in the 7th administration, because ministers are very busy, cabinet, and these committees also want them in Parliament and their sittings. So we just need to look at how we can strengthen programming to ensure that the executive is able to do its work and also be able to be accountable to Parliament. I also insist, the Honourable Member, whenever there's line whip, I do inform all my colleagues to be able to be in Parliament or to log in if the sittings are virtual or hybrid. And where questions need to be answered, deputy ministers should go and answer questions if ministers can go, so that accountability remains strengthened. And I think it will improve with time. Thank you very much, Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. Let's hear Honorable Wahube.
Thank you. Deputy President, the purpose of asking questions to the executive is to ensure accountability and ultimately implementation of the interventions that will improve the lives of South Africans. Last year, I asked you in this House about your support for bills that would stabilize coalition governments at a local, provincial, and the national government level. You committed to doing so. You convened an indaba to obtain views from various sectors of the country. All this while the DA has introduced 3 bills that would do exactly that, with provisions that you and your ministers seem to support. We are more interested in making sure that we stabilize coalition governments than we are about having these bills tabled as DA bills. So considering that South Africa is likely to have a coalition government at not only a local level, but at a provincial and a national level come the 29th of May, will you and your party support these bills instead of seeking to reinvent the wheel?
Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Kwahube. Well, I haven't seen the bills. I'm sure, Honorable Kwahube, they are somewhere in the system. Let me just say, Honorable Kwahube, that you are quite right that we are doing this to strengthen accountability, indeed. And we need stable governments throughout the country. And you'll recall that when we had that summit, our biggest problem was at local government level, where we had a lot of disruptions. And what we actually needed was a framework that should guide coalition governments. And I think that that dialogue or summit did very well. Document was produced, various parties wanted to study it, bring their comment. That is all done now. I did get the report that we need to bring that back to Parliament. It may well be that the bills that we are bringing will be in line with what the framework is saying. But that report is coming. I just don't know where it is now in the process, but we had hoped that before Parliament rises, we should be able to adopt that report formally. And if there are any bills that will come through in Parliament that strengthen that framework, I'm sure many of us will not have a problem with that. But I think let's get that report to be tabled, adopted, finalized. I will check with my office where it is at the moment, so that we can fast track the process and get it adopted by the National Assembly. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. Honorable Mkalipi, or any EFF member stepping in.
Thank you very much, Acting Speaker. With your permission, I'll be taking this question.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Deputy President, the problem on unanswered questions is a perennial problem, and the executive seems to have its hands tied in the manner it is unable to hold ministers to account. Amongst the most notorious culprits is the presidency itself. By December last year, Mr. Ramaphosa had 2 answered questions. Minister Dlamini Zuma had 23. Minister Nkadimeng had 17, and Minister of Electricity had not answered 12 of the questions sent to him. When the presidency itself shows us gross disregard for answering questions, what message are you sending to the rest of the cabinet? Specifically, what more tangible action can you take to hold these ministers to account? Thank you.
Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Acting Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Member, on behalf of Honorable Mkalipi. Yes, we take this matter very, very seriously. In fact, when there are unanswered questions from the presidency, we get worried, the president and myself. So we are very hard on ourselves. That's why you'll see in most cases, you don't see unanswered questions from the presidents, because you're quite right. If we can sit with hundreds of unanswered questions in the presidency, how do we tell ministers to comply? But I can say, Honorable Member, that we are improving the system. As I was indicating now, that yesterday there were only 2 ministers with unanswered questions beyond our limit that we have set. We are working on the basis that we should answer all questions before Cabinet convenes its final meeting for end of this term. And I do hope that the 7th administration will find ways to improve the system even much better. Perhaps we might even need to ensure much stricter provision on the turnaround of answering questions. I of course have to be mindful of the fact that some ministers have a lot of agencies, and when they answer, they don't just want to do it glibly. They want to know they get all the information they need so that you give members correct information, and you have to get it from the agencies. And sometimes they struggle to get that on time. But I'm sure the system will improve if we are hard on everybody, including the presidency. Thank you, Honorable Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. The next question is number 6. Akhbar Breed, Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker. Thank you, Akhbar Breed, for the question. Honorable Acting Speaker, the Department of Water and Sanitation is intervening in municipalities that are experiencing water challenges. The Ministry of Water and Sanitation continues to mobilize water boards to assist affected municipalities to improve their plans, or rather to implement improved plans. In Mokaka Municipality, the Department of Water and Sanitation is implementing phase 2 of the project, which commenced in April 2023. On completion, this project will enable the Kroonstad water waste treatment plant to function optimally, thus prevent pollution on the Vaal River. The anticipated completion date now is put at December 2024. So it means end of this year, the project should have been completed. Honorable Acting Speaker, government continues to support municipalities to address water infrastructure through Regional Bulk Infrastructure Grant, we call it RBIC, and the Water Services Infrastructure Grant, WASIC. During 2023-24 financial year, the Department of Water and Sanitation allocated 10.1 billion rands to municipalities through RBIC and 4.6 billion through WSIC or WASIC. In addition to that, an additional budget of 1.4 billion has been allocated under what we call Municipal Disaster Recovery Grant. That is for the 2024-25 financial year. This will fund repairs, reconstruction of the municipal infrastructure, particularly that was damaged by the floods in 2023. As part of our outreach program, we continue to visit communities around the country to assess service delivery challenges with the aim of finding lasting solutions, particularly with regard to upgrades of water infrastructure and the provision of basic services. Honorable Acting Speaker, will recall that one of the models we are rolling out is the district development models. And the President has given me a task to ensure that we roll it out throughout the country. So when we visit provinces, we meet with premiers, MECs, executive mayors, and their officials, etc., the administration, to attend to various challenges. And one of the challenges that we have been dealing with much more actively is the challenge of infrastructure, but particularly the challenges of water. You recall our visit to Jagas Fontaine in the Free State and other areas, particularly to deal with this challenge, to help municipalities to be able to fix water infrastructure and other infrastructure that is critical for service delivery. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. Honorable Brecht.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Honorable Deputy President, I fear that you have been misled and that the interventions have not worked. Yes, 105 million rand was availed for phase 1 of the sewage works, but it is still not working. 2 screw pumps, both sand pumps were removed, both flow meters and 1 mixer is not functional, and 3 aerators are also not working in Kroonstad, and that after 95 million was spent. Another 15 million has been sent for phase 2, and I tell you, I was there less than a month ago, and there is no work being done on that. Your predecessor committed that by 15 December 2021, no raw sewage will flow into the rivers in the surrounds, and that is still not the case. Businesses nearby, like a veterinary clinic, spent most of their days ankle deep in sewage and cannot use their operating rooms anymore. The Minister of Water and Sanitation shrugs his shoulders when you ask him to intervene there. This is a crisis. I want to know, Honourable Deputy President, what commitment will you make to the people of the Kroonstad? And I'm more than willing to escort you and to have you go and see in person what is the state of that wastewater treatment work and how the community is suffering. I thank you.
Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honourable Acting Speaker. Thank you very much, Honourable Brecht. In fact, the Honourable Brecht, I was in the Free State last week. Unfortunately, I didn't go to Kroonstad. I was in Welkom. But what I will do, I will go to Kroonstad. You can come with me. We'll give you the dates when we're going to see for myself this challenge. As I say now, they've given assurance that will be completed end of this year, but maybe it could be done earlier. Because of the challenges of water throughout the country, particularly in various municipalities, we see a lot of problems. The President yesterday asked me to lead what he called a water task team to go and intervene throughout the country. We're still working on a schedule. My task team will include the Minister of Water and Sanitation, Minister of Cocta. We're going to include the Minister of Police because in some instances we have realized that there's vandalism of infrastructure. Like what I've seen when I visited Naisna, I found that the pump station was vandalized. We had to make sure we put security, butler doors repaired, and we're able to start pumping the water again. So, but we want the police to be part of this. We're going to include human settlement in that team as well. Minister of Electricity, because in some municipalities, they'll tell you The reason why they can't pump water is because they don't have energy, they don't have electricity. And as you know, that sometimes you have to pump water in an elevated environment, some really uphill places where if you don't have strong pumps that are working, that have energy, they can't pump water upstream. So we're bringing in different ministries in the task team. We will start our work immediately because the President appointed us yesterday. I've already asked my head of office to start looking at the dates and looking at where we should go first. I'm sure you might argue, Honorable Priya, that I must start in the Free State. But we are looking into that because there were big challenges in eThekwini as well and recently in Gauteng. But immediately after the Easter holidays, the team will meet and it will start visiting various areas in the country to intervene as the President has requested. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy President. Honorable Marekwa.
Thank you, Honorable Acting Speaker. Greetings to the Honorable Deputy President, and thank you, Deputy President, for the response. It shows really that indeed ANC is committed to improving the lives and dignity of all citizens. The work that you intend doing and that you have been doing as the leader, we are appreciating. Honorable Deputy President, the operation and maintenance of the newly upgraded water and wastewater treatment works are key in ensuring constant provision of clean water and adequate sanitation. Will the Honorable Deputy President indicate if the ANC-led government will consider, as we go forward, deploying artisans, technicians, and engineers to small and struggling municipalities with the intention of ensuring that this important infrastructure continues to be effectively and efficiently managed and maintained? I thank you, Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Marekwa, for the question. We have decided, Honorable Marekwa, some time ago that we should support our municipalities. And if you look at some of the challenges, it's actually technical support through the Municipal Infrastructure Support Agent, MISA, is tasked with that, to ensure technical support. So they have a technical support service program that they use to support municipalities, providing technical support in various areas of delivery, helping municipalities in planning, maintenance. We were very worried that in some of the areas where you have challenges, it's actually a challenge of lack of maintenance. The Minister of Water was making an example yesterday about a problem in eThekwini, and he said, you know, there's a pipe that runs from a particular area, destination to another destination, and he said, sometimes our officials know that there's a pipe there, but they don't go and check if it's working properly, how many years it's been there. So the question of planning, maintenance, making sure that we refurbish, and that's the message I stressed when I met the mayor of Knysna, that sometimes problems, because this is old infrastructure that needs to be renewed. And I made an example to them, and I said, I live in Johannesburg, and when Deputy Minister Pakster was executive mayor of Johannesburg, they started renewing the pipes. You know, I saw that because they were digging in front of my home, and I was asking, what are you guys doing? And they said, no, we're now putting the plastic pipes. We take in the old ones. Most of the old pipes were asbestos pipes in many municipalities, some steel. Now they are not so durable. So that work is happening, and with the task team that the president established yesterday, that I will be leading, we will also be looking at these issues when we meet with municipalities to look at are they doing maintenance regularly? Are they renewing old infrastructure, etc., so that these problems don't recur. But at the moment, MISA is assisting to capacitate our municipalities. And once the task team goes around, we'll either find other solutions, but we are supporting them, as I said, through RBIC and these other programs that and the grants that we have put aside to support our municipalities. Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. Honorable L.J. Basson.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy President, considering the critical state of the Kroonstad wastewater treatment works highlighted in the Green Drop report, and Deputy President, as we speak, this treatment work is discharging untreated sewage into the Vals River, ending up in the Vaal River. Deputy President, this issue represents just one of many wastewater treatment works across the country polluting our rivers and streams. Taking your answer into account, what concrete plans does your government have to effectively halt this widespread pollution and ensure the protection of our rivers and streams for future generations? Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy President.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Member, for the question. Obviously, the task team that was set up yesterday, amongst others, is going to immediately look at this. My own view, Honorable Member, is that we do need to renew infrastructure as a matter of agency, so that we don't have this problem of pollution that going into our river systems, particularly because these rivers are the ones that supply the water that we drink in the cities. So if we pollute the Vaal River, it means the water coming to our homes would not be given a 100% pass rate that it is clean. So it is an urgent matter to stop pollution. Municipalities sometimes, Honorable Member, they complain that they don't have the resources to renew infrastructure. That's why we are setting up these grants to be able to assist them. The Water Services Infrastructure Grant that I referred to earlier, and the Regional Bulk Infrastructure Grant. These grants have to be used to deal with this problem, because some of our infrastructure, when it comes to water, you find that it's infrastructure that has been there for 30, 40 years, and has never been really renewed, repaired. So it is an immediate task that we are going to take up to ensure that we stop the pollution. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. Honorable Mautwe.
Deputy Speaker, again, with your permission, I'm going to be taking this question on behalf of Honorable Maude.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Deputy President, Hammanskraal has not had a proper provision of water for the past decade. same as Giyani in Limpopo and Makhanda in the Eastern Cape. Almost 70% of the municipalities are dysfunctional and in no position to deliver any services to our people. All these problems have been known for a number of years. The entire country, save for white affluent areas, is a service delivery hotspot. What has been done to solve these widely known problems, such as ensuring that municipalities employ qualified and competent people, that corruption is dealt with, that infrastructure investments are made in municipalities to be able to deliver water and roads? I thank you.
Thank you, Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Acting Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Member. Yes, it is correct that we should do our best to ensure that municipalities employ qualified people. As I said, Honorable Member, that in the meantime, we have asked MISA to intervene, particularly to ensure technical support for the municipalities that may be struggling. But in the long run, of course, they will have to bring in people full-time with all those expertise in the municipalities. Yes, we can see that in some areas, these problems could have been attended earlier on. But as I said earlier, that the task team will start working immediately after Easter. And we will look at Hammanskraal, we'll look at Giyani, we'll look at the Eastern Cape, Free State. There were challenges when I was there last weekend, where in some areas where the taps are already installed, but the water is not coming out. And we want to check what the problem is. So, you know, I'm not saying this task team is going to be a panacea for all the ills, but I think it's a good start. It's a high-level team that will move into provinces and the municipalities. And we have agreed with the president that where municipalities are not succeeding, or where there are big challenges and they are not able to ensure successful interventions, we should do so as national government. Not necessarily to take over their functions, but for the sake of the people who must receive these services, we need to intervene directly ourselves. I know that sometimes councillors don't like that in their areas, that they say it amounts to taking away their responsibilities. But we have decided that where we think it is necessary to do so, we will do so in order to ensure that our people receive the services that they need to receive. Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Speaker.
That concludes questions to the Deputy President. And thank you, Deputy President. Honorable members.
Thank you very much,
Acting
Speaker. And thanks to all.
We wish you well as you break for Easter. And please interact with the people in a respectful manner, in a manner that ensures we are known for conducting ourselves well, in spite of any enthusiasm we may have about one direction or another. Let's go out and join the people throughout the country and in whatever else is necessary and needs to be done in this period. Thank you. The House is adjourned.
Thank you, and you too, Speaker. Friday,